sometimes you still have to see it as sort of an adventure, you know?
Exactly.
You're traveling with a boat, there is weather, there is wind, there can happen things, but like we said, if it goes wrong, in the end, it gives us the best reviews, because if one motor stops from a boat, I always say at our office, another one starts.
Dear listeners, dear viewers, thank you again for watching or listening to the Boat Bike Tours podcast. I'm Ennie, your host for this episode, and usually I work in marketing and sales for Boat Bike Tours. But today I have the pleasure to talk to two people who are out in the field. Gerben Sarelse works in B2B as a tour advisor. Also, you're on the phone with guests often. Yep. And then Hetty van Lemmen is a tour guide. So she's out in the field. So I'm curious to talk with the both of you about how the office crosses over with being out in the field. Yeah. So thank you guys for being here.
Yes.
Nice to have us.
And I think it's best if you start introducing yourself. So Gerben, can we start with you, please?
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. So like you said, I'm working in sales in our Amsterdam office. You're one of my favorite colleagues, so
yeah, sure.
Then we have said that. And yes, I do mostly B2B bookings, so bookings for partners. And I also have a lot of our guests on the phone with a lot of questions. And yes, I'm working there now for 3 years, and it's a really fun thing to do.
How did you get to Boat Bike Tours?
That's a very long story. I think we can use a full podcast for that one. But I started 3 years ago on Valentine's Day. I always say I brought our CEO a big bouquet of roses that day.
Did you?
But that's 3 years ago now. I rolled into it. I did not have any connection with travel business. But now I'm 3 years further, and I really like the product. I really like our guests, or how we call it, our target group. We have a laugh, we have problems to solve with them, and it's a really fun job to do and a very nice product to sell. So, yeah.
And Hetty, how long are you working for Boat Bike Tours, and how did you get to the company?
Well, we have a lot of similarities because I'm also with Boat Bike Tours now for 3 years. I'm a freelance tour guide. And before that, I also had no experience whatsoever with tourism or travel. I did study international business once, so I did something with languages and foreign countries, but not in tourism. I used to be a business controller, so in finance a lot. I really loved that for a long time, but at a certain point I was like, let's do something else with my life. And then I talked to somebody who was very enthusiastic about being a tour guide, and I started at Boat Bike Tours.
Yeah. That's fun.
Yeah.
Also, then we have a crossover because that's what I'm studying too.
Oh, really? Oh, I hope we have time afterwards to talk about that.
But today I want to talk more with you about expectation management, because I feel like, so at the office, Gerben gets probably a lot of questions or also knows a lot about the expectations, but then we of course don't know if those expectations are getting fulfilled, except for if we're getting a review afterwards. But then Hetty, you know how the expectations are managed on board. So I think that's an interesting topic for us to talk about.
I think so too.
So Gerben, first of all, what questions do you get?
Yeah, I'm thinking already. It goes all the way, you know. It's to name the most weird questions. We think it's okay, like do I have LED lights in my cabin? How many lights do I have? Do I have a shower curtain or a shower glass wall in my bathroom? You know, so there's a lot of questions, but we challenge ourselves that we have also an answer for it. So if we have a new one, we're always happy. Okay, so make our document more complete with that sort of questions. But you sometimes also experience a bit stress from, okay, what happens if this? What happens if there's a problem with the boat? What happens with, So yeah, people want to want to know everything before they start, and sometimes for myself, I think, okay, it's a holiday. You might get surprised in a good way, so yeah, it's your holiday time, it's our job to go take care of that, and it's very valuable, so you can relax. We arrange it, but yeah, all the questions, and yeah, they keep coming. Yeah, but what if I have a flat tire, or yeah,
I never realized that you
Yeah.
get all those questions
Yes.
already in the sales
Yes.
phase. We get a lot of
Yeah.
those as well in the beginning, but I never realized it
Yes.
also happens.
yes,
Yeah.
because sometimes I think, okay, then I get a flat tire, and what then? Then I always think, if you now think that we are going to let you there, and yeah, sorry, your tour stops here. No, that's really not a problem. There are telephone numbers for the guide who can help. If your bike gets broken, they fix it. So no stress there. It's our product,
Yeah.
And yeah, if there are how we call them nautic problems, like broken bridges or high water or low water, there will be a solution for that. We will manage or find an alternative really suits the atmosphere of the tour.
Yeah.
And yeah, we always experience, if there's something happening like broken bridges or high or low water, or a problem with the boat, the reviews we're getting out of that tours
Are the best.
are the best. Yes.
Yeah.
I recognize
So, yeah.
that. Yeah. But do you get different questions from the people working semi-guided? Because I'm fully guided, so I always cycle with the people.
Yeah.
And so they know that you are there all the time. So
Yeah.
it might be a bit different then.
Yeah, I think then it's more of less stress from, okay,
Yeah.
Hetty cycling with
Yeah.
me. And the non-guided tours, yeah, then you have your GPS app and a paper with it, and yeah, it's a bit more. You have to be sort of experienced with that, but then also
but
on board.
also the target groups are different for fully guided and semi-guided. So I feel like a lot of international guests choose for fully guided.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
from those people, we get different questions than from our German guests, for example,
Yeah.
because it's a bigger commitment to come from overseas.
And also the cycling is a lot different here. I mean, the Dutch and the German people know exactly what it's like to cycle in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And we really have to explain. For instance, I sometimes say every car driver in the Netherlands is also a cyclist.
Yeah.
And that already, you feel the nerves already. And you see that people keep distance or they stop for you at a crossover. So, yeah, that helps.
And if sales is not doing the job well enough to answer all the questions beforehand, what kind of questions do you still get on board?
Yeah, well, we always start off with a welcome briefing, and we already give them a lot of information, so much that I sometimes say, okay, it's a lot to take in, but so we start off by giving them a lot of information, and they still have some questions, about their cabin or about the alarm button or how did it ever happen, things like that. But yeah, in general, they are overwhelmed by all the information, and we have to sort of, at least I get the feeling that I have to sort of prove myself the first 2 days, that they know, okay, if there's first aid involved, okay, she'll manage. If there's a detour, she'll manage, things like that. So you have to sort of prove yourself, and then people, they are much more relaxed. And it's not that they are anxious. When I think a lot of questions are answered in the beginning already, because when they come, they are excited most of the times. And sometimes you feel some of the people are, about a bit worried about the cycling itself.
Yeah. And do you have that sometimes people have completely different expectations and come on board and are kind of disappointed?
Yeah, that happens sometimes. It can be because they don't know the ship. They've been on another ship and the ship was different, so they had different expectations, or the weather, especially in spring.
Big topic in the Netherlands.
Big topic, yeah, especially for the tulip tours. But in general, it can also be very hot in summer in France, for instance. It goes all the way what their questions can be about and what can be disappointing. I think they mainly most people are, there's differences in the cycling itself. So some people are very experienced cyclists. So we always say, this is a relaxed tour. This is, you have to look around. You not have to, but you can look around, enjoy yourself. And so some people expect much more kilometers or much less. Or so that's also expecting, managing expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But did you have that also, that people ended their tour and came to you and said, wow, I totally didn't expect that?
They're almost always pleasantly surprised. So not that they didn't expect it, but it's they come in with lower expectations usually.
Yeah, I realized that too when I was doing interviews with guests on board. They all said, we're so positively surprised.
I think they make a picture in their mind from, okay, it will be like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you never cycled here in the Netherlands, and I can imagine the tulip tours and all that, that's can really mind blowing. You cannot make an image from that in your head if you are doing it.
Definitely. And especially people from overseas. I mean, not Germans because they are used to that, but the cycling infrastructure is magnificent here. So
and from all the questions they can ask, then they think they know everything. But yeah, if you're on your bike through the tulip fields, then it's,
that's right.
Yeah. But I was thinking about all the questions, but also about the weather, you know. Then we really get questions from, okay, how will the weather be on the 9th of September this year?
Yeah.
Sometimes you say, okay, I will give you my colleague who is paranormal, has a gift.
You always mention the crystal ball.
The crystal ball, and she can help. But yeah, sometimes. And then if you give an answer like that, they also start to laugh because they can imagine all the questions we get. But But yeah, it can be rainy and
and for me it's a sort of a challenge because I used to be business controller. I was always doing managing expectations, and so in the beginning when I first started, I did a bit too much. So I got very good feedback from one of my colleagues because I always asked my fellow, especially the very experienced ones, please let me know if I can improve something. And well, he said that to me, and he was right because I could, downgrade sometimes. Like, for instance, the Keukenhof, which is gorgeous, beautiful, 7 million bulbs, flowers. And so I thought, then the next day we're visiting this very tiny garden with historical bulbs, volunteers, and I was like, I'll exaggerate a little bit. Well, yesterday we've seen the Keukenhof, and it's very professionally organized, but today we'll see a historical flower garden. It's not very big, and then I got a reaction from one of the guests. She came to me in the evening and she said, "Oh, this tour today, I loved it. All the volunteers, they were so helpful, and there was no crowd. So you have to make sure that you don't. You have to let people be surprised about what's coming. Yeah.
Don't oversell things.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
Do you do that, Gerben?
No, but yeah, we know tulips. I go watch them every year. I confess, but last week I had this lady on the phone. I think her name was Karen, and she was doing the tulip tour in 2 weeks. And I told her, okay, the Keukenhof is open since last Thursday, and the tulips are ready to pop, And I could feel her on the phone. Oh, I'm so excited, And then you have to keep that in mind. It's their expectation, and sometimes it is what it is, but sometimes you still have to see it as sort of an adventure,
Exactly.
You're traveling with a boat, there is weather, there is wind, there can happen things, but like we said, if it goes wrong, in the end, it gives us the best reviews, because if one motor stops from a boat, I always say at our office, another one starts, because we're going to start to arrange alternative excursions, transfers, the whole machine is coming up, and in the end, the most people have a really lovely week, and we do our best for it.
I think the most important part is to also make the people realize we're still on a boat. Yes. A lot can go wrong. There are so many different things that can happen. So it is definitely still an adventurous holiday.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
But and sometimes people do get disappointed, when you really can't offer what they read in the descriptions. But usually, and not always, but usually we have a very good, expensive for the company, but very good alternative. So people they are happy in the end.
Yeah.
We did get the most. Last year I had a terrible year for me as tour guide, although I really liked to improvise as well. But we had a lot of calamities of all sorts, and then for us as a tour guide, it's great to have this office arranging things. We did tours we never done before. You have alternatives for next tours also. So it's and people, they really like it.
Yeah, it can happen that the bridge does not open, and we have to do something, and it's not okay. Then here your tour stops.
Yeah.
No.
And we start off in the beginning, manage. And also I know that in the description, I sometimes read the description, that people get in advance, or actually I always do. And so you see what is promised. And we always start with, you never know, exactly what you said, the weather, bridges, locks in France and in Germany, floods, rain.
Yeah.
And people know. So, and if they do get disappointed, it's our job to put something extra in.
Yeah. Can we dive a little deeper into those calamities? Because it's also maybe important for the guests to understand how do we act in case of a calamity, and how does the tour guide interact with the office? How do we come up with alternative routes, and how do you manage then the expectations on board?
Well, the tour guides are in very close contact with the crew, especially in cases like this, the captain and the mate, but mainly the captain, but also, the chef, if time schedules change. So we keep in touch all the time, and we try not to let the guests, see that, because they're on holiday. They don't want to see all the things we have to arrange. So we try to arrange it in advance so that they hardly notice that there's a slightly different thing. But if it gets really serious, one of the things I also learned was that you have to be very honest and informative about it. And not everything, because they're still on holiday, so they don't need to share your concerns all the time. But they want to be updated. They want to know what's happening, even if we still don't know what we're going to do exactly. And then they should have the confidence that you will manage anyway. And as I said, then the company, for instance, we had a calamity where all of a sudden we had to leave the boat. There was a problem in the engine room with a fire.
With the Princess Royale.
On the Princess Royale. Terrible for the people on the ship and the owners of the ship, of course, because, it had to be repaired after that trip. But at that time, now I forgot what I wanted to say about that. At that time, you have to really improvise. And then within 5 minutes, I was talking to the captain and to the office. Yeah. Okay, you'll arrange for a hotel. I'll arrange for the restaurants. I had,
and at that time, our CEO was in the car already going there to talk to the people, and if they see, okay, we're going to help you, no stress, for as far that was possible. But the motor starts running at the office to
exactly and for us it's and also for the people, of course, it's very good to know. So we share that information, what we're doing about it. And as I said, then all of a sudden, and then it's usually up to the tour guide or the office, depending on who has the ability to do what at what time. I try and make a different route on my computer right away. I'll arrange for a trailer to transport the bike somewhere, or maybe the office does it. It's in full cooperation. Yeah.
We know how to handle it. It's not every tour that's going wrong.
No, definitely not.
No, but if there's a calamity, then we know how to solve it. And it's also experience. So
yeah. And I think it's so nice to see how the entire company works hand in hand. Yeah. You're doing the new routes, then our logistics team brings the bike somewhere, or then sales is informing the guests on the following tour that there's a change. Handling the refunds.
Or there's a problem with a boat. Okay, then we have to do, what are we going to do with this tour? But it can
also
be...
the tours,
After it, it can be that it's for 2 or 3 weeks out of the water. But then also that machine is coming up with alternatives, or we can do a lot then. And if you're working on that, it feels like we're doing it together, but you're also doing it together with the clients, because they understand they did not book a hotel, which is there for 150 years. There is a boat, and we have, there can something happen, you know.
But I did feel sorry for the person who had to call, you know, all the people that were coming in 3 or 4 days on that ship.
Yeah,
That was us.
Yeah, I think so. Sorry.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible, because sometimes they could, you know, they could be rebooked on another ship. It wasn't possible all the time, I think.
Yeah. Definitely. It's definitely a challenge, but I think it brings everyone closer together,
Absolutely.
especially the guests.
Well, we've had reviews, I didn't bring it now, but where people say we were so much bonded, and I'm usually in a WhatsApp group with people, and I hardly ever leave, so I also see my previous tours. And there are still people communicating a lot with each other from those tours.
Yeah,
so
it's more
great.
bonding. Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so nice to see. I went on one tour, and that WhatsApp group still exists, and it's so nice to see how good of friends the people became. Also, like talking about which tour are we doing next.
Yeah. Exactly. They don't know each other, but they are asking, "Oh, are you doing it? Which one are you doing?" And maybe I can try and book the same. Yeah, it's great.
So nice.
Yeah.
And now we see that the Princess Royale is ready again. So it's all a lot of, it's renewed, but there are the same people are booking again, because they did, you know, also for some goodwill for the ship, and bring it. Let's see if you can do it this year.
They're asking for the same adventurous tour.
Yes.
They called it the one where we also had floods. It was not just the fire; it was also some floods. You know, different routes, because we couldn't be on the bike paths. And they called it the Magical Mystery Tour, where we went from plan A to plan almost Z.
Yes.
Yeah, but we unfortunately can't promise a fire on the next tour
No,
again.
and let's not do that. Let's not do that. No.
But it's also funny to see that sometimes we get emails, or very often actually, asking for a specific tour guide. Hi, I went with Hetty last year. Can we have her again? So it's also, you can really see what kind of effect the tour guide has on a group.
Yeah, that's true.
And if people ask that, they have the feeling also with us that we're not that far away. You know, I always say, if people call us, the phone can go for maybe 2 times, but then you're speaking with someone.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great power of us, because I think our guests still want to talk to people.
Yeah,
definitely.
To take a small side path on this route, now we are. Last year we make big steps with AI, so to say, you know, and it saves a lot of time.
Yeah,
but then you can say, okay, we can do the same with less people. But now we are putting that time to talk quality. To our. I experience now also on the phone. I take more time to talk to the guests, because all the let's say boring stuff is now doing by AI. So, but there's not much distance between us and our
I
clients.
agree. It's very important.
We have a name, and they ask for us, and so that's really good. And that's also with guides. You know, if they ask next year for the same guide, or
Yeah, and especially with overseas guests, it's important for them to talk to someone, because they might be scared. It's a big commitment. Maybe they haven't been to Europe before. They want to experience the Netherlands for the first time. And then if they call and talk to someone on the phone, it takes a lot of fear away.
Yes,
definitely.
Because then if they ask for Ennie, then I say, okay, she's off again. You know? But then they say, okay, then I call back tomorrow. I don't find you, but then they call back. So I think in these days it's really special.
It is.
It really is.
It is.
It also makes you feel important somehow if someone remembers your name.
And responsible. Yeah.
Or I had someone on the phone a while ago saying, I spoke to Gerben. Well, he didn't know how to pronounce your name. He said Gerben or something like that.
That's a mess. I always say it's called Gerben with the G from George, And it's a very Dutch name.
And every time he says it,
And the rest of the office,
everybody laughs.
yeah, but it is,
Yeah.
But then they try it, and if they go do it well, okay.
Yeah, but
Very
he said,
nice.
I've spoken to him last year and I
Oh,
want to book
wow,
again. So
that's
it's
great.
so nice.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, yeah,
great.
yeah.
Yeah, that says something. Yeah.
So that means you set the expectations right. And then
Yeah.
Hetty had maybe an easier job to take care of
Well,
that person.
it does make a difference if people are informed correctly in the beginning already.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we
Because
can-
when we say that,
Yeah.
when we repeat it, they say, yeah.
We
We've been told.
we can promise them everything, but if they come on board and it's not, then we have
Yeah.
a problem. Yeah, no, we never do that. Then always check also with the ship owners. Can the window open?
Exactly,
Can the
because-
beds get together?
Because you said you have this document
Yeah.
with all the, but you don't
Oh.
know. Even I sometimes mix up the ships. You
Oh,
know,
if you ask me,
is there a curtain or not?
are on the Nassau or the Amsterdam, is there a USB port on the telly? It's in there. Yes, we know.
Everything.
Yeah.
The magic sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you have tours or where people are really positively surprised what you can see every year again?
Well, this is only going to be my 4th season, but yes, I do have repetitive guests now. Not that many yet, because it's sometimes difficult. People want to book their tour when our planning is not made yet. So sometimes people ask, "Are you going to be tour guide again?" And then I said, "Yeah, I'm on this tour, but it's already fully booked
Yeah.
or whatever."
Wow.
Yeah, but I do see people coming back. Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah. But actually, on that particular one where we had both the floods and the fire, there was a couple that I met the year before. I met them on the Moselle in Germany.
I know what you're going to say.
Coming again. And actually, I had to comfort her the most because she was so expecting exactly the same
Oh,
as we had on the Moselle. But in the end, it was all perfect. But
Yeah.
then, you have to also, that's also difficult because it's only 7 or 8 days. But you get to sort of learn how to react to different people.
Yeah.
Some want to be
Oh,
comforted,
yeah.
some want to be left alone, some want to be. But usually in 1 or 2 days, you sort of know the people you have on board, and then you have to. Yeah.
Yeah, you're really also the point for questions and all that sort of things on board. We have our tours, then you have 7 dinners and 1 for your own. Yeah, it gives stress to our on the phone. Okay, where are we then that evening, and where
Can I
can
book
we
in
eat?
advance? Yeah.
So I can find out for you, but you also can ask your guide. They know the restaurants, the fun ones,
Yeah.
the good ones. So yeah, no stress there. All the questions can be asked. So.
And it's also difficult because sometimes people come and they say, we already have a booking in Alkmaar, for instance.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, we are late or earlier or in a different city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sort of things. Or I have friends in Alkmaar.
Oh, yeah.
I want to visit.
Yeah.
Then I always say,
Well, we usually make that happen.
Yeah.
They take if we're not there, they take a cab.
we're now
or-
4 months for departure, so I cannot say that
Yeah.
you can visit them, but wait for the first day on board, talk to your guide.
Exactly.
They know how late and when and where, and then there's time enough to arrange.
Yeah.
well, there are 100 points I wish to discuss with you further, but unfortunately, our time is coming to an end.
Wow, that's going fast.
Yes.
It is.
And at the end of each episode, I'd like to ask you guys an FAQ, a frequently asked questions from our guests. And the question for this episode is, can I bring my own bike?
It depends a little bit on the ship. It's usually possible. I think there are only 1 or 2 ships where there's no space at all, because it has to do with the space on the ship.
But it is possible.
Yeah.
Then we have to know if it's an e-bike or a normal one. If it is a trike or something with more wheels, we also have to know the measures because we have the low plank. What's that in
Gangway?
Gangway.
We have the gangway. It has to fit, but it's possible. But then you have to give when you book, say it, and then.
And it's good to book early then, because sometimes there's limited space for own bikes, and when there are people before you who also bring their own bikes, there might not be space. But so the earlier the better.
Yeah.
So
Well, perfect. Thank you so much. I think we learned a lot here about how to manage expectations and how it all works with the communication between tour guide and office. So it was very interesting to talk with you both about it. And if our guests want to learn more about boat bike tours or have specific questions, you can always visit our website at boatbiketours.com or contact us, and then maybe we'll pick up the phone.
Yes.
So I hope to see you in the next episode again, and thank you again for being here.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Pleasure.